In the last video, I mentioned my runner being broken. So this is what I'm cutting off. It's like a old chemical tote bottom like that. Or it's the whole inside, I guess. But this is just the bottom piece. The top was cut off already. I didn't even measure. I just took my tape, lined up the edge of the tote that I needed with the 8-inch mark, and then I just pushed it along with the tape in the slot here. That way it's just a little quicker. I didn't want to take a few minutes to measure. It doesn't really matter because it can overhang or it can be flush with. It doesn't matter. But for the most part, it's pretty close to 8 inches all the way around. So, and then I'll just slit one of these corners, and the corner will be where you start because you have your angle on your skid that comes up. You just screw in the corner, and then you just follow the whole way through. I'll show doing that part too, but the regular wood blade on the saw cuts just fine. It turns it white, but the teeth are fine. Just plastic, so it cuts fast and quick with that. What I'm gonna end up doing is just putting this one over the old one, so it'll have more to wear on. If you're wondering what screws I use, they're just wood screws. They're a number 3, so they have a bigger head than like a regular deck screw, and they're number 12, and they're 2.5 inches long. I think this was like $15. There's 150 in there, which like I already have all the screws in there, so this is just left over. There's probably still at least 100 in there. Probably used about 50, 25 a side or 30 a side or so. And then all I do is I just put it in, and like these ones I didn't sink in as far, but the ones underneath I just tightened right up so that they squish right into the plastic, and then that way it doesn't catch when you're pulling it or whatever. So I'm just gonna put this on and then I'll show you. And I did put the jack stand in there. I got the second slider on the bottom. I ended up not taking the screws out of the first one on there. I ended up just putting the screws through both. Like one layer had screws and then the next layer had screws as well. So when I take it apart, I'll have to pull screws out of both, but I might eventually have to get like actual sliders. These totes, they work, but because there's corners on them, if you don't screw them perfectly in the corner, they start to twist, and then they're hard to keep them straight. And then that's what gets it. If it bulges when you screw it, that's what makes it wear out quicker. So I might end up changing those, but for now they'll work for this year, and then if I decide next year that I need to change them, I'll do that next year. I'm gonna start on the wiring for the lights, and then I'll show you guys that too, but I'm just gonna get everything ready for that. So I drilled a hole here, and the drill bit doesn't reach all the way through. So what I'll do is I'll take this nail and I'll tap it through, and then on the other side I'll find it, and then I'll just drill the hole back through, and then that's where I'm gonna pass my wire through. So I'll just tap it in. So here's where it came out on the outside. I'm just gonna tap it back through. I'll go on the inside and I'll pull it back through that hole. Then I'll just drill that hole out to make it more of a proper hole for pulling the wire through. And then I'll pass the wire through. So it's kind of hard to see here, but I got my hole here. So what I'm doing here is I got just a bit of wire. It's like, I think they call it mechanics wire. And all I'm gonna do is just poke it through. Might take a second to kind of find how it has to go. I might have to straighten it out or cut this end off. But just poke it through, and then I'll fish my wires through. There, got it through there. So I'll just pass it through, and then I'll either tape or even just put the wires through and pull a loop in it, and then I'll pull them back through. I'll solder it, and then I'll show you once the light's up there. I taped these wires on to the mechanics wire, and I'm just gonna pull them through now. So I'll just pull these wires through. Usually probably pretty stiff. That's what you don't want to happen. So I'll go retape that and try that again. I probably had too much tape on the last one, so I'll just lightly tape this one. Okay, that worked. Now I got them pulled through, so I'll just solder these up and tape it up, and then I'll show you from there. So now that I got this tightened up in here, I'll go pull this wire through, and then I'll do the other side, and then I'll come back to the video and show you what's happening. So I got them both wired in, but I'm just getting finished up for the night, putting tools away now, and gotta put some stuff away. But the reason why I'm putting these lights on here, so when you're fishing and it's past dark and you still want to leave tip ups out, then you can just look out the window, flick the light on, you'll be able to see your tip ups. Or you could just even leave them on. Probably will end up leaving them on, but